What's up, guys? Welcome to another video of Galo's Garage. We really appreciate you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing our last video where we were able to swap out the tail lights and put the 50/50s in. Saw lots of thumbs up from you guys, so really appreciate y'all's opinion. That's exactly what we want. We want you guys commenting, telling us what you think. I think it was a good turnout. I think, you know, like I said in that video, I've always liked the 50/50 look. I think it looks amazing. All right, so appreciate you guys. Keep them coming. For today's video, what we want to do is we want to swap out tints and we want to create the glass house effect on the hatch. We're going to try to make it a little bit cleaner. And if you guys know me, you know the cars that I've built in the past, I always try to have the glass house effect so that it looks clean. You can get a better vision of like the interior and all that good stuff. And it just makes it look overall better. Tints I usually do only on SUVs, like I said. So, you know, we're gonna try to test it out today and hopefully it goes well. All right, guys, so if you know, removing tints can be tedious. It can take you longer than what you're expecting if you're not prepared and don't have the right tools. I'm not prepared right now, so we're gonna have to hit the store and make sure we get everything we need to complete this job successfully and try to do it as smooth as possible. So join me, we're gonna ride out and go to the store, and then we're gonna pick up everything we need to make sure that this doesn't become a couple-hour job. We wanna make sure we knock it out real quick and not have to worry about it. All right, so let's go. All right, guys, so when we're talking about taking the tints off of the hatch, you wanna make sure you have all the right tools. Like I say always, make sure you have the right tool for the right job. So we're here at the store. We're looking for either a heat gun, a steam gun, to heat up the adhesive that's behind the tint to make sure that we can pull it back a little bit easier. And then we're looking for some kind of solution to apply while we're pulling the tint back. Could be soap and water as well. And then we're gonna need some straight blades. So stay tuned. We're gonna try to get these tools. All right, guys, so the other thing that I forgot that we might need is actually a headlamp. Lighting is the key to success. You always need good lighting. I've never actually owned one of these headlamps. It's an LED one by Husky. It says 550 lumens, so we'll see. But we're gonna test it out and see if it works out. All right, guys, finally we made it to the right aisle. Anyways, so there's a couple here. Fern 300, 500, and then there's like a heavy duty one. We really just need the Fern 300. You don't want to heat it up too much because it's glass. All right, so I actually don't have one of these, a spray bottle. You're probably gonna need one of these just to spray if you're gonna mix water and soap or whatever. We're gonna look for an adhesive remover, so like a Goop Gone or something like that, just to see if we can make our job easier. If there is adhesive that stays back, we wanna make sure that we get it all up. And then we're also going to look for some wool pads, W-O-O-L, so not wood pads, wool pads. Sometimes to clean windows and stuff like that, wool works the best. So yeah, so we found this Goof Off. It's adhesive gunk removal. This stuff works really good. I've used it before, different applications, but it should do the trick. This is a worst case scenario, right? This is a case scenario where we try to heat everything up. We're trying to pull the tint. It's leaving back a bunch of glue and stuff like that. So after we get all the tint off, then that's when you want to use something like this. All right, so we got the straight blades right here. There's tons of different types of straight blades. To be honest, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's one of these straight blades that you can keep it nice and flat, then you'll be in good shape. So. All right, and then the last thing before we go is the steel wool. These are the wool pads that I was talking about to clean the glass and stuff like that. At the end of everything, try to get every single thing off with these. The grade that you want to use is the 4-0 grade. There's grade 1, 2, and 3. It's just thicker and it works for heavier stuff, but you want to use this 4-0 steel wool grade. All right, guys, appreciate you guys for joining us. We're back now, so we want to try to get started. But before we get started, I just want to tell you guys why I bought what I bought real quick. So the heat gun, it's just a Wagner heat gun. It's relatively cheap. The Ferno 300 is the one that we went with. It doesn't have to be like some industrial grade type deal. It just has to warm up the adhesive enough for it to loosen on the backside of the tint so that we can continue to successfully pull the tint off of the window without leaving bits and pieces behind and having to go back with the straight blade and like get in there and get the tint off and all that good stuff. So we did buy the straight blades just in case. We will need them, but we don't want to get too far into it because you can risk scratching the window. And then I got the steel wool, and the goof off is the worst case scenario at the end of when the job is done on the adhesive and stuff like that. If we did leave a lot of adhesive behind, being able to clean that off and make the tints or the windows look as clean as possible. That's the reason why I got those two. And then I did need the spray bottle because I didn't have a spray bottle, and it's always good to have a spray bottle here, just in case you need to apply solution, Windex, whatever the case may be, right? But we're just gonna go with the soap and water. We really just wanna moisturize it, heat it up, and then pull the tint back so that it's able to, you know, come off collectively and you're not ripping the tint and all that good stuff. And then the headlamp, I got the headlamp really, like I said, I never had a headlamp. So I got the headlamp just for extra visibility, extra lighting. But today it's pretty light outside, so I'm probably not gonna need the headlamp. But you never know, you might need it in a future job, right? So that's pretty much it. Let's get to it. All right, so as you can see, pretty much this one only took me like 3-4 minutes, but when you're heating up and stuff like that, that's why you want to make sure you're heating up accurately, because I didn't leave any adhesive behind on this part. If you focus right here, you'll see where I left pieces behind. That's the type of stuff that you don't want to happen, right? Because now for me to get those pieces out, it's gonna take me a little longer, and to make sure that, you know, it comes out nice and clean and I'm not leaving any tint behind or anything like that. But for the most part, it went pretty smooth. So the first window took us about 5 minutes, but we're gonna keep trekking along, and then we'll let you guys know when we're finished, and you guys will be able to see the finished product. Guys, finally we were able to get done with the hatch. We were able to get the tints off. I wish I could tell you guys that it was a simple task, but it really ended up being a little bit more tedious than I thought. It took us a lot more time. So when we were doing like the front windows, like the driver window and the passenger window, those ones ended up being really easy, relatively easy to get off. It's like 5-6 minutes each one. But then when we start getting to like this back window and like the actual hatch windows, with the curvature of the window, and I think the tint sat on those for a little bit longer than the front ones, it was really time consuming. So shout out to my wife, she helped me out. She was in there. We can't feel our thumbs. We probably could have been a little more prepared as far as like having like some holsters for like the blades and stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. We were able to get it done. We didn't scratch the windows, which was my biggest thing. I was worried about us scratching the window. It's hard to come back from like scratching a window, especially like some of these windows in the back, that they're harder to find in good condition, and they're a little bit harder to replace. But luckily, we maintained patience, we stayed focused, and we were able to do it. All right, so it wasn't something that we couldn't get through. So we're super stoked, super happy with the turnout. Hopefully you guys like it too. Let us know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. But that's gonna be it for this video. Join us on our next video, and we appreciate you guys for being here with us and joining us on this journey. The hatch is looking a lot different, only 2 things being done to it, and I'm already getting super excited and stoked about what it's gonna end up being like. So keep joining us on this journey. We're gonna stay together, and we're gonna make sure that we get this thing looking really good. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks.